Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and this is going to be a little bit of a weird video because I announced that I was going to review Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets, and then a couple of people who watch my other channel a lot say, "You already reviewed this," like right when it came out in summer of 2017. And here's where it gets really interesting. So I reviewed it, and I liked it a lot, and then I watched it over the last couple days, and I liked it a lot. And then I realized that about a third of the movie was completely new to me. I had never seen it before, so I'm not quite sure what happened. But I think when I first saw it, um, it I think I was getting a bunch of like emergency phone calls, and I had to keep stepping out because I vaguely remember taking a mental note and saying, "I like this so much. I'm not worried about missing some scenes because I'm gonna watch it several more times." And then I got busy, and now it's 2 years later, and I watched it, and man, oh man, this is just such a good, fun movie. And I talked to people, and everyone who has watched it, so it was kind of well, yeah, it was a flop. I mean, it was definitely a flop in America, but it did pretty good overseas. But not, I mean, it made like half as much as Alita, which is like a mid-range success, or kind of like on the lower edge of success. So, but everyone who I talked to, who has seen it, they have very positive reaction, and I just, I just I spent 2 years saying, "Oh, I watched the movie and I really like it." And I really saw like two-thirds of it, but I just watched all of it right now, and it's fantastic. So, Valerian is based on a series of French bande dessinée albums. It's quite different than American comics and manga. These are large; they're album size, so they have a hardcover. They're album size, and they're usually fairly short, like 50 or 60 pages, but very high quality. I've never read any of them. I think I might have flipped through one once, like last summer. So I basically came to it quite new. From what I've heard from people who have read the French comic albums, it's a good adaptation. They're happy with it. But I was just happy with it in general. So it's about these two soldiers, and I forget exactly what they are. At first, it seems like they're in this benevolent organization, but almost everyone you meet, is kind of malicious. So I don't know if it's like a fascist government or what kind of government it is. But anyway, so at the beginning, you get to hear David Bowie's Space Oddity, and they show the growth from the International Space Station into this giant conglomeration of all these ships from all these different civilizations, and then it gets so big it has to move away from Earth because it's going to fall into the atmosphere. So they set that up. Then there's this planet Mule, where there's these kind of like beautiful idyllic aliens, and there's a lot of plot shenanigans, intricacy, and while that stuff was good, it wasn't what I liked about the movie. What I liked about the movie were the two leads, which is Major Valerian and Sergeant Laureline. And I absolutely love this duo, and I wish the first movie would have been a success. Although there's been lots of videos talking about why this. Obviously, Dane DeHaan and oh god, I knew I was gonna blank on her name, and I am. Let's just use their character names. The actor and actress who portray Valerian and Laureline they're not big box office draws. Although, really, who is? I mean, maybe if Jennifer Hudson would have been Laureline, but she wouldn't have done as good of a. Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts. I'm always doing this. I gotta start having the computer open so I could just actually say people's names. Just give me a second here. Now this is fun, right? New tab. Valerian. There it is, right there. I hate when I do this. Not valerian root. I don't need to know the side effects of it. Valerian IMDb. There we go. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. God, what is her freaking name? Getting closer. Where's her name? Filmography. Cara Delevingne. Jehoshaphat. So anyway, Cara Delevingne and Dane DeHaan. Dane DeHaan I know pretty well from. I liked him in the second Spider-Man reboot, but I really like him in this movie called Lawless. So I've been kind of keeping track on him. He kind of looks like he could be, if he got the right roles, he could be like another Leonardo DiCaprio. Like he's a good, really good actor. So the thing that makes this, and there's great production design, there's a fun story, but it's the relationship between Valerian and Laureline. So it starts off, and it's a little adventure scene that's good, but you see Valerian propose to Laureline, and it's really hard to describe in words if you're not watching it, but this is kind of a weirdly old-fashioned and yet complex relationship. One of the things about both of Valerian and Laureline is they're very, very good people, and they're both kind of weirdly honest with everyone, but they're still complicated. Valerian used to be, well, it sounds like up until quite recently, before the movie starts, a ladies' man, but he's basically like, you're the one for me. But she doesn't believe him. And one of the things I really like about, especially Laureline, is first you have a couple who is they're intelligent and mature. Like they're young, but when they express themselves, it's kind of hard to explain how rare that is. I'm thinking about like Pepper Potts and Tony Stark. They were both in Avengers Infinity War, and Tony Stark's in his 50s, Pepper Potts in her 40s, and yet all of their interaction is just snark, quip, but there's not really any. The emotions have to be portrayed by the actor and actress, because on the surface it's just a bunch of sitcom-y rejoinders. Whereas with Laureline, it's almost like a fantastic world, but very, very mature. Not mature in the old, mature as in maturity. She basically says, you say you want me, but this is what I need. I need to see this growth in you. I need to be reassured. It's very well written. So a lot of that is just, them getting some crazy adventures, but him kind of convincing her that he's for real. So it's like this $500 million love story about two young adults who obviously love each other, but they're kind of figuring it out, and that's really it. Like I said, there is fantastic scenes. Although I gotta say, Rihanna cannot act. Oh my gosh, she plays a shapeshifter named Bubble, and it's not as bad as it sounds. But she gives every single line reading the same intonation. And she's got that classic thing of not a real actor where, it's like that school play type of thing. I just want to say my words correctly. So she rushes through every sentence. Oh, I said I didn't blank on line. So she just stinks. But there's all kinds of good actors. You got, Clive Owen. God, I was blank on everyone's freaking name. Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke plays Jolly the Pimp, and he's really, really, really good. So they also, it's a very European cast, but I gotta say, I just love this movie, and it's because the interaction of the two leads. Now, yeah, I will say the same stuff that everyone else says, that Cara Delevingne and Dane DeHaan they're not big enough stars. If this would have been filmed 20 years ago, The Fifth Element, it would have been Bruce Willis as Valerian and Mila Jovovich as Laureline, and they both would have done good, but obviously that's not an option 20 years later. So I don't know, like, I just think it's kind of great. Now, one of the things about the movie is, although it's a lot of fun, it's 2 hours and 17 minutes, and it really doesn't need to be. Now, that being said, I can't really think of any major sequences or scenes I would have taken out because I kind of had fun in pretty much all of it. But there's no reason this movie needed to be 2 hours and 17 minutes. You get this thing down to about 100 minutes, 110, and that's going to make it, what, 30, 40 minutes shorter, which means the budget would have been, probably 30% less, which maybe would have gotten it into, kind of, breaking even. But too expensive, too long, and they kind of, you could tell they wanted to do a lot of stories in this universe, and it's real obvious this is going to be the only one. But go check it out. There's tons of stuff in there I didn't even cover at all. It's a very visual movie. It's everything looks great, and it's very imaginative. So, and music and the action, everything is good. But I described basically the things that made it for me. But I've heard nothing but good things from people who have watched it. So go check it out. It's on, well, I think I just watched it on Amazon Prime. But go check it out, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll have probably have another. So I've been doing Star Trek Discovery, where I watch Star Trek Discovery while drinking whiskey, but I drank a little too much last time, so I might just do the review completely sober, or just limit myself to 2 fingers of whiskey. Thanks for watching. Bye.